Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Friday. Today we got to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, why it has been so weak recently, and this historic signal that you have to know about. So, let's talk about all this and more, and whatever else is going on in the world today. All right. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin's not bad. A little bit higher than yesterday this time. 58.5. Although, we did have, and I released a video last night talking about this. What happened there? Why did we all of a sudden sell off last night? Now it looks like we are recovering. There is some entity. There is a force that is definitely suppressing Bitcoin right now, right? And let me talk about who that entity is. Right now, the U.S. market, yesterday was an explosive closing. We had the U.S. market way in the green. Today is opening up slightly in the red, but overall, this week has been pretty good for U.S. markets, right? That's a surprising thing. How is it that, say, NASDAQ has been skyrocketing this week, yet Bitcoin has not been? You can see here. Bitcoin completely decoupled from NASDAQ yesterday, right? Like complete opposite. That normally isn't the case. When the money starts swirling around and people are bullish and people are buying, there are many that feel that Bitcoin is like a tech stock, like a risk-on asset. So normally speaking, when you see like Nvidia or Apple or Microsoft start going up, especially if you see MicroStrategy and Coinbase go up, normally Bitcoin would follow. But why didn't it? Why are we still stuck below $60,000? Right? Well, I mentioned this yesterday, and other people are saying the same thing. It's because that one entity, that one suppression force, the U.S. government, is what's holding Bitcoin back right now. The 10,000 Bitcoin they transferred to Coinbase probably was not sold all at the same time. If they just had an open order to dump 10,000 immediately, that would cause a huge price disruption on the open market, right? So it does look like they sent it there and they've been just slowly selling it off, little bit. Again, no one really knows why they decided that it needed to sell about 10,000 Bitcoin, roughly what, $600 million worth of Bitcoin at this time. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. That's a drop in the bucket in terms of how much debt we have as a country, 35 trillion plus and counting. So what's 600 million, right? So there is something weird about this whole situation. I don't know if we're ever going to find out why this is being done now, right? One can only guess this is somehow politically driven, because there's no other reason why the Department of Justice needs to sell about $600 million of the Bitcoin, right? But I do think it is done on purpose to cause disruption, to cause FUD at this point in time. But you know what? The good thing is, again, those that want to sell and dump, let them. Because afterwards, that's one less FUD to worry about, right? Mt. Gox is nearly complete. Germany, I've already talked about, is done. Who else is going to be dumping? The U.S. government? Okay, if they want to dump, let them dump. After they're done, they can't affect the market anymore. And as soon as they stop, basically, that's when the sell pressure is over, and that's when we can finally rise, right? It has happened so many times in the past. So let these guys do their thing for whatever reason, whatever motive they may have. This is also measuring the funding rates on Binance. So basically the people that are playing leverage right now, right? The funding rates have turned negative at this point. So this, you can interpret this one of two ways. Number one, there are a lot more shorters these days than people going long. And number two is, well, remember what happened in October of 2023 when Bitcoin was still stuck below a certain point. And then we started rising up quickly. In fact, that was around the time Bitcoin completely turned around and we broke above 30,000 and never looked back. We're looking at the same scenario right now. So pay attention. Pay attention. That's significant, right? So basically, when the selling stops, all these indicators, and there are a lot of them. Here's another one. Active address sentiment indicator. Never even heard of this one before. AASI is also showing that Bitcoin is oversold. Should be rising. It looks like we're hitting that kind of like capitulation point that we have seen many times before, going all the way back to 2023 when Bitcoin was under $20,000. Same thing with the fear and greed index. We're in fear level right now, okay? Right at where we are. When was the last time we were this fearful as a market? Again, going all the way back to 2023 when we were below 20,000, right? So, I mean, if you're paying attention to what's going on, right, you'll realize that, yeah, it does seem like the price action sucks. There is a lot of FUD. Someone's definitely selling. In this case, the Department of Justice. But everything else is indicating that Bitcoin is strong as ever. Bitcoin is going to turn around and soon will turn around. And the adoption is still massive. So, for example, institutional adoption, right? We know institutions have come in, but it's really just the beginning. BlackRock and Fidelity and all those guys, just the beginning. MicroStrategy, just the beginning. Now we're starting to see banks, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, just the beginning. But when I say just the beginning, we're talking about tens of billions already. Just wait until it's hundreds of billions and trillions. That's when it's too late. That's when Bitcoin will no longer be cheap, right? Right now, if you're looking at Q1 to Q2, that's just this year. Despite the fact that Q2, we started going downwards in price. The ETFs, or the holders of ETFs, have grown tremendously. And we're just talking about this institutions, not just like normal average Joes buying ETFs. No, we're talking about some of the biggest and wealthiest companies on the planet loading up on ETFs or Bitcoin or even MicroStrategy. We're hearing a lot about MicroStrategy itself being a big Bitcoin play for central banks and for companies around the world. It's all because they want more exposure to Bitcoin. And BlackRock itself now, if you look at the cumulative, they have surpassed Grayscale for the first time ever in terms of their overall holdings. Okay, meaning if you add their Bitcoin holdings, their ETH holdings, you add it all together, it is now more than Grayscale. It took Grayscale how long to accumulate? But they've been dumping and dumping and dumping, and investors are dumping Grayscale at an alarming rate, and all of it is going to BlackRock. So BlackRock is now one of the big daddies of Bitcoin holders and even ETH holders, right? It's not really good. We don't want these guys to be loading up so much, but hey, the cat's out of the bag. Larry Fink and others now realize Bitcoin is the new gold, so to speak, right? And we need to acquire as much of it as we can while things are still cheap, right? Honestly, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And I've shown this many, many, many times. Even with the outflows from many of the other funds, okay, you never see outflow from BlackRock. It's just really that simple. Even yesterday, they just had a zero, but no outflows. Just no outflows whatsoever. When others are selling hundreds of millions, none is being sold from BlackRock at this point, right? Now, of course, it's not just them. We've heard of the state of Wisconsin buying Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs. Now you have South Korea's pension fund buying MicroStrategy, right? And like I said, we had the Swiss Central Bank, Norwegian Central Bank buying MicroStrategy shares as well. So there are many that, hey, if you can't buy Bitcoin ETF, right? Or you can't buy physical Bitcoin, then what do? You buy the next best thing, MicroStrategy, because it's just a giant Bitcoin play. In fact, some argue that it may be smarter to buy MicroStrategy because they have been moving at a faster rate than even Bitcoin. That's temporary though. Long term, nothing is going to outperform Bitcoin. But again, my point is you have many, many that understand, and some of the biggest funds, wealth funds, sovereign funds, pension funds, hedge funds, they're all loading up on whatever they can for Bitcoin exposure, right? Even MicroStrategy. And we have the very first leveraged ETF that tracks MicroStrategy's price at 1.75x. It's just the ETF just to leverage MicroStrategy now. Think about it. That's how much interest and volume there is now. It's kind of crazy. All right. Now, as for charts, a lot of you guys love charts. I do too. But the reason why is not to say, well, what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen the day afterwards. These charts meant to show you that, yes, we are going to go higher and form a new high. But more importantly, again, we're following previous patterns. Okay, our consolidation right now may be a tad longer than before. Maybe just a slight tad over what we have seen before. But then again, we have never broken through a previous high before having event either. That goes to show you how fast we are in this cycle, right? But all previous cycles before, we've seen the same thing. Right before Bitcoin breaks through its previous high, it stalls a little bit and then continues forward. In our case, we didn't stall. We broke through previous high multiple times, including just 2 weeks ago. Seems like some people are treating like what I'm saying like, oh, we've been stuck here for 6 months. No, just like a few weeks ago, we were at 70K. And 70K is above our previous high of 2021. So we're definitely ahead of the game. So our consolidation may be a little bit longer than before. But overall, if you're looking at when Bitcoin started moving after the halving event, if you look at the chart, you go back, it was all around the September, October, November timeframe, which is coming up. We're already halfway through August, which is crazy if you think about it. September is right around the corner. Right around the corner, and we have many cows, including the very first rate cut that's coming in the U.S. That will be big. That will be big. Here's another one. Let me remove my camera here. Here's another one. Yeah, again, looking at the previous halving, you notice this is zoomed in. You notice that after the halving event, we didn't really start moving. That parabolic rise didn't start until like November. So even though we haven't gone up yet, that parabolic rise like before, but look at what happened before the halving, right? Look at that rise. If you look at in 2020, before the halving, was there any rise? No. It was just a big dump. So that's why you could see, even though there are similarities, of course there are differences, but overall what this is saying is buy, buy, buy. We have another indicator here that is indicating this is a great buy opportunity. Got a lot of these, a lot of these. Here's another one, again, showing the same thing. Roughly around October, November of this year is when that parabolic phase starts. Nothing has changed. Now, if we go to like December and we're still around the same mark, then yeah, then you could argue things have changed this cycle. But no, we're not there yet. So you just have to be strong. You just have to stay focused on the future, like I've been saying for a while. Remember that just a few weeks ago, we were at $70,000. So it wasn't 6 months ago. It wasn't 2 years ago. It was only a few weeks ago. Okay, so do not lose sight of the fact that nothing has changed. Little volatility, but we will recover. We'll move past this once the U.S. government decides to stop dumping. We'll be just fine. Now, here's the last thing, the last signal I want to show you guys, and this actually has to do with Ethereum and not even Bitcoin. Record drop in Ethereum gas fees marks historically bullish signal for ETH. The fees represent more than a 95% drop. Wow. March we know was big, right? Earlier this year. That's when a lot of the alts, including ETH, really rose up. We're 95% cheaper with gas fees at this point in time. That shows you activity dropped 95%. The price didn't drop 95%, but the price certainly went down a lot with it. But that's kind of crazy if you think about it. But it's a 5-year low. Now, some of that is not just because of the down market. Some of that is due to other chains doing much better, and all the activities have just moved to other chains, right? So there's partly that, but there's also a big part that the market's just weaker right now. In case you guys care, Donald Trump revealed that he holds over $1 million in Ether, mostly from his NFT sales, obviously. And he's still doing a lot of stuff. Like, he just sold some shoes. He had a fundraiser where he raised a whole bunch of money with crypto. So I don't know if there's more to it than that. But he's definitely a crypto holder at this point. What else is there? Well, speaking of other chains, Sol, if you look at Sol's dominance versus ETH, it's kind of like pressing against this line, this trend line here. If it could break through, well, that means that Sol may get a lot stronger. You know, I've always been pretty bullish on Sol, even with price predictions, right? Here's one that shows $250 million of USDC launched on Sol. But, you know, I've always said I think Sol is going to flip ETH, is going to go much higher. And this guy's prediction is Sol's in a cup and handle pattern, just like Bitcoin. But unlike Bitcoin, if it breaks out of this, its next target is $5,000. That's insanely bullish. I'm not even that bullish. I don't think that's going to happen this cycle, but there are a lot of people that think that Sol is moving in the same footsteps as Ethereum, and Ethereum did hit 5,000 last cycle. So can Sol do that this cycle? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's refresh this. Yeah, the market's not that bad today. I mean, it's not bad. We could certainly flip into green. MicroStrategy's up. Coinbase up. See, here's another reason why you could tell that the suppression is not from Wall Street right now. Because if Wall Street was the culprit and selling out Bitcoin, you wouldn't have like Coinbase go up 3%. You wouldn't have MicroStrategy go up 2%, right? So it's not Wall Street that's holding back Bitcoin right now. They love it. They're buying the ETFs. They're buying stocks that have Bitcoin exposure. So, you know, the reason why Bitcoin's not moving up right now has to be the one giant entity that's still trying to sell off their 10,000 Bitcoin on Coinbase, right? And that happens to the Department of Justice. But this is interesting because normally speaking, if you go back and recall, whatever there's like slight weakness with Bitcoin or ETH or whatever, you'll notice that, you know, Coinbase is going down or MicroStrategy is going down. That's not the case. Right now, both of them are way in the green. That means Wall Street is buying. They also notice this is a really good time to buy because of what's happening, oversold activity. Again, that tells you. Right now, it's not Wall Street holding Bitcoin back. It's the Department of Justice. It's the U.S. government, which unfortunately sucks. And no idea why they need to dump $600 million worth of Bitcoin at this point in time. Makes no sense whatsoever. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, happy Friday, everyone. Let's see. Let me scroll up here. Helium or Helium Mobile? I like Helium Mobile. How did Blackrock get so big and powerful? Joe, I don't know. It didn't happen overnight. Mel says, I'm so tired of the system trying to F us over. Hey, becoming a millionaire, attaining life-changing wealth isn't going to be easy. And certainly governments don't want to make that easy. So, you know, I've always said volatility is price of admission for Bitcoin, for crypto. Really, it's a price admission for any kind of investment. Anyone can get in. Anyone with $100 can start investing. But can you stay in the game long enough to see a reward? For most people, that's no. That's why most people don't invest. They can't handle it. But if you educate yourself and you can get through these times, you're going to be a good investor. Let's see. All right, still scrolling down here. George, serious question. Could you summon a banana? It's gonna come soon, guys. It's gonna come soon. The banana phase. Mustafa says, I finally had 2 Bitcoin as of today. Congratulations. That's a whole lot. That's over 6 figures in Bitcoin. That's a lot. and that number will only rise over time. But congratulations. What happened to my OF? I wasn't getting a lot of subscribers, man. You know, so I decided to give it a break. And Cry asks, when do you expect a rally for alts? You know, we just need to come back up, really. I think later this year, probably the October, November timeframe leading into December, the Santa rally, we're going to see a good rally for everything. But when Bitcoin starts topping out in 2025, sometime Q3, Q4 of next year, that's when true altcoin season hits. Leiden asks, George, if you were to take a gamble, would you go for ADA or XRP? If it's a gamble for the end of this year, I would say XRP. If I had to choose one, if I had to put my money into one for the end of the year, I would choose XRP. If we're talking about the end of this cycle, then I would choose ADA. Chase Moore asks, if I don't pay my crypto taxes, what happens, George? You will get audited, and if you ignore that, you will go to jail. Don't ignore paying taxes, especially on your crypto gains. You rather pay it now than later, because when the sum of your crypto becomes much, much larger later on, that's when you will get in much deeper trouble with the IRS or wherever tax authority, whatever tax authority you may be faced against. Don't do it. Don't do it. Pay it now and find ways to deduct. That's the best way to do it. If you don't have a business, start a business. Look at Coinbase. I mean, Coinbase is like off to a huge start today. Nvidia's down today. I mean, even MicroStrategy. So again, the suppression right now isn't from Wall Street. It's definitely the US government right now. Otherwise, Coinbase and MicroStrategy would not be having green days right now. So the good news is, eventually the selling's going to be over. Bad news, short term, there could be some volatility like right now. But long term, once they're done, we're golden. What's a good chart to show? I guess this. Crypto Jat asks, how do you know when Bitcoin or alts are peaking in 2025? That's $1 million question. You don't know. You don't know. Like, I wouldn't know. Basically, don't try to time the top. Just start taking out more profits as we go higher. Yeah, you can't fool the IRS. They have all the information. In my experience, okay, even though I know a lot of people hate paying taxes and say it's unconstitutional, whatever. But moving past that, IRS has been, you know, more or less you treat them as like QuickBooks. They don't have all the information. You got to tell them, well, they have all the information, but you got to tell them how to digest the information. I remember this is not crypto related, but this was years ago when I was trading a lot of stocks. And, you know, Charles Schwab just sent all my trades to the IRS. And the IRS came back and said, hey, according to Charles Schwab, you owe us like $40,000 based on your trades. And at the time, I was dirt broke. I'm like, I don't have $40,000 to pay, right? That can't be right because I was at a loss. So I printed out hundreds of pages of my trades and I tallied them up for the IRS and wrote a long letter saying that you guys interpreted this wrong. I'm actually at a loss. You guys actually owe me money. And I sent it to the IRS. No questions, no dispute. In like a few months, I actually got a check back for like $4,000. So they actually gave me money back, right? You just have to tell them, you have to point it out to them, right? So it's better to just lay it out and be honest about things, stay within the legal confines of our tax code, and you'll be fine. You have nothing to worry about. You won't have them knocking on your door later to arrest you. It'll be the same thing with crypto. So just make sure you use the right software to tally up all your trades. Make sure you're reporting it right. Take out deductions when you can. No, they did not write an apology letter. They're not going to write an apology letter. It's the same thing because now Coinbase, I'm pretty sure all major U.S. exchanges are compelled to just send all people's trades to the IRS. So Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini and I don't know who else, Robinhood. I mean, they're all sending all of your trades to the IRS. But the IRS can't digest that. They don't know what you bought it at, especially if you transferred in and out. They don't know how high you got these crypto at. They could just see the trades, right? So you have to define them for them very carefully so that you tell them, hey, even though this trade shows I'm at a, you know, I'm with a, you know, in the green, but really no, it's because I've lost, you know, others or whatever, right? That counters this. Hemp mine. How come Matic is still down 30% for the year? I'm looking at top 100 coins. Matic, unfortunately, is going through some stuff. You know, the other L2s have gotten much stronger. Matic is going through a conversion. I'm hearing Coinbase won't support their new poll airdrop. And a lot of developers have moved off of Matic. So they're going through some stuff right now. I'm hoping they could pick up. I'm hoping after they move to Pool 2, I mean a new token and Matic 2, that things get a little better for them. Should I go long 125x on Bitcoin my last 4,000? No, you should not. You should not. Is a Telluride better than a QX80? I don't like any Infinity cars, so you could immediately eliminate them. Telluride is a fantastic SUV. Fantastic. Yeah, Yeah, that reminds me of tomorrow. Just so you guys know, I'm going to start doing something different. Just like my Sunday walk videos, they're different. I'm going to do Saturday drive videos from now on. So rather than me doing a stream on Saturday, I get cars every week, new cars to review for my other channel, Drivers Only. So what I'm going to do is just start talking crypto while driving a new car every single week. I'm looking forward to it. I just don't know when the time. I think I'm going to start tomorrow, but I don't know when I'm going to put out the video. Probably more closer to like noon time. Maybe earlier. I don't know. Depends. So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk crypto, talk a little bit about the car, and go from there. EK, you mean if I hold Bitcoin but sell and then buy ETH, do you own taxes? It's a taxable event, but if you sold Bitcoin at a loss, you're not paying any taxes on that. But it is a taxable event. It's not going to be live stream. No, I'm not going to be live streaming it. Crypto cruise control. How about this crypto cruise? We don't need a control in there. Welcome to another crypto cruise. That sounds pretty good. I like that name, John. I want to take the control out of it. How often do you get recognized in public? I don't know. It's random. Sometimes randomly, often. Like coming back from Nashville, one of the TSA agents recognized me, even though she couldn't really talk to me because she was working. Sometimes just randomly at restaurants. Not too often in my private life, which is good. But like if I'm going to a crypto conference, then it's like every minute, every 30 seconds. But luckily, I'm still out of this. The spotlight, I guess. It would be bad if one day, like everywhere I went, someone recognized me. That would not be a life I would enjoy, to be honest. Crypto on wheels. No, I like Crypto Cruise. I'm going to stick with that. Crypto Cruise. Akeem the Dream. Why is everyone stealing your format? Everyone talking about a low overhead method from you. News and then, all right, guys, Q&A. Even stealing your tags. I might too. I mean, because it's the best format. I innovate and other people steal it. They see what works and they steal it. Doesn't mean that they can't make it better. A lot of people do things better than I do, obviously. Not saying I do the best at what I do, but I do like to think of myself as being an innovator. I do things a little bit differently, and then other people like it, and they copy it. And Cry, Jordan, what tool do you recommend to report detailed transactions with minimal manual effort? Yeah, there's a lot. Coin Tracker, Coin Tracking, Coinly. I've used Coinly with a K. It just hooks up. You enter all your addresses, and it could scan everything. It'll scan every single transaction and tell you, basically it'll track everything. The more wallets you put in, the more it could track detailed from, like, if you move your crypto around and stuff like that. They're all pretty good, and then it'll come out with whatever form that you need for your taxes. XRP to 589 according to Miles. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. It's my dog's birthday today. Happy birthday, Odie. How fast have you had the Ferrari? Not that fast. It's such a it's such a cop magnet, I guess. So I'm afraid to drive really fast. I think on the highway I got it to like 120. I think that's about it. I didn't try to push it. That would be kind of stupid. I don't want to kill myself or get my car impounded or lose my license. Larry Bird says, stealing the idea of talking and driving. Everyone on the planet does this, but does everyone on the planet have a new car to drive in every single week? The answer is no. I literally get a new car to review every single week. So the next one will be Ioniq. I think this week Ioniq 5N. And then next week could be a BMW M2. The next week after that could be a Toyota Camry. The week after that could be a Grand Highlander. After that could be, I don't know, a Kia Telluride. I'll guarantee you no one in the crypto space can review, can do a crypto cruise like I can, because they simply can't have a new car every single week. So no one will be able to copy it even if they wanted to. K-Jam. Yes. And according to you, got up to 130 on a toll road. On my Tesla, I did. On my Tesla Plaid, because it's ridiculous amount of power and it accelerates quickly, I think I got to 140 on my X Plaid. And it was quick. It wasn't like it took like 2 minutes to get up to a 140. It was like literally 10 seconds. It was really quick. Lotto. John didn't like Garfield because it had an oldie. Yeah, because of my card channel, MaxP, I've been reviewing cards for a long time. I could borrow directly from the manufacturers. So I basically could borrow any card that's out there, other than the super exotic cards and crazy expensive cards. But even then, like early this year, we had the XM from BMW. That's like a $180,000 car. I mean, there's some good cars. What's faster, Plaid or Ferrari? It depends. 0 to 60, the Plaid is faster still, I think. It's pretty close. I think it's 2.6 to 2.5. If you're not on top speed, the Ferrari's way faster. On a track, the Ferrari's way faster. Yeah, my other car channel is drivers only, but Josh, which you see in here, he's manning it and he's doing most of the reviews now. So it'll be cool when I do my Saturday cruise. I'm not gonna like it's not I'm not gonna turn it into like a car video. It's mostly still crypto related. I may show off the car a little bit, talk about a little bit how it drives, but for people that have interest, they could go to my other channel and watch the full review, right? I think it'll be a good setup for those of you guys that do care about cars. It's a good lead in to them as well. So it makes things interesting. KJAM is already in the description, called drivers only. Have I test driven a Urus before? Yes, I have. I was thinking about buying that as a big tax credit back in 2021. Um, it doesn't feel like a normal SUV. It's very stiff. The panels inside are kind of cheap. There's a whole bunch of buttons and switches inside, kind of like a fighter jet cockpit. It sounds amazing. It's decently quick, not the quickest. It's not really good for families. The seats in the second row are stiff and tough and not very comfortable, and the trunk space isn't the greatest. So it's a good looking, nice sounding SUV, and it's great for tax deduction purposes. Let's just put it that way. That's the only reason why the rich buys it, because it's over 6,000 pounds and you couldn't fully depreciate it. Dutch Cruise says you can show the engine and do a scenic walk around. I mean, again, I don't want to make it too car focused because, as surprising as it may sound, a lot of people don't like cars, and a lot of people get pissed off even when I'm talking about cars right now, and I don't get it. I feel like everyone should like cars. But yeah, I can't make the videos too car focused because I know it'll turn some people off. So I'll do a good mix, I think. And plus, I don't want to do a lot of editing either. My Sunday walk videos, I do almost no editing. Sometimes I just like cut off something in the middle, but overall, it takes no time to edit. And I don't want the Saturday cruise ones to be edited either. I just want to do like one straight cut, one straight take, and that's it. Lotto says stocks are killing right now, which is why crypto isn't moving. Now, I don't know. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. You know, Coinbase is in the green. NASDAQ's turning green. You got a lot of things turning in green. The only reason why Bitcoin isn't going above higher is because the stupid Department of Justice is selling off Bitcoin. Or maybe some other entity is selling off massively that we haven't detected yet. But right now, I think that 10,000 Bitcoin is still being sold off. Vandy Dandy, me Kevin bought a $19 million plane just to avoid paying taxes. Yes. It's kind of stupid to do so, but yes, if you have insane amount of money, you got to buy what you can to deduct taxes, right? As long as it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to spend money to deduct tax if it's just a pure expenditure that you're never going to use, right? Like in Kevin's case, I think he did come out later and say that it was ridiculously stupid for him to do that. The cost of maintenance and everything is ridiculous, and his channel is not doing nearly as well as before, so he's not raking in the money like before. So I don't think that was a smart purchase. That was like back in the day, he used to like really go after Grant Cardone and really try to copy him, and I think it was his way to show to Grant Cardone, like, look, I could have a private jet too, but I don't think that was a smart decision. He's not on Grant's level. Nate, do we have to wait until October for the fun? I think, yeah, or at least next month after the first rate cut. Um, they got some good cars. Nate, I don't know if you like own the cars that you showcase or you rent them, but if you do own them, you got some nice cars. Last time I checked. Rex Sim says, can't wait to witness my first parabolic phase in the cycle, hoping 10x my portfolio. I mean, things change really quick, man. Really, really, really quick. And I do believe 10x is very, very doable in the parabolic stage. And that lasts for like a year. We're not talking about the parabolic phase being just like a few weeks. If you look at previous cycles, you look at the charts, it lasts like a full year. Doesn't mean that there's no up and down. There will always be up and downs, right? In fact, the parabolic phase brings more volatility than non-parabolic phases. So just be prepared for that, but we will move very quickly. Tom Crown in the house. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, man. People spend a lot of time in their car. Why not like the coolest ones? I'm making a decision right now. Get the newest Genesis fully loaded. Don't know exactly, but that's my decision. I've never been a fan of Genesis. If you've driven enough Hyundais, you'll realize Genesis are basically the same thing. Hyundais have all the technologies packed in. The high-end Hyundais or Kias actually are really nice, and there's really nothing that Genesis offers over a normal Hyundai. There may be a few more technology stuff, but the screens are the same. The whole, like the buttons and everything in space is the same. Genesis basically has better engines, more powerful engines, but that's about it. And me personally, I don't like the way Genesis looks. The whole design concepts of the Genesis never look good to me. Have you gotten weird job offers from major networks to be their crypto report analyst? No. I'm part of a group called Roundtable. So I do every Monday, I do an interview with Scott Melker, and it gets posted on. Now I think they made a deal, so the Roundtable articles get posted on Yahoo Finance and The Street and other places. So so I'm part of that group. But outside of that, yeah, not for anything else. Yeah, Kia, I mean, if you could get past the name Kia, they're actually really nice cars. I don't know about long-term reliability because the bad they used to be really bad in the past. Now the new ones, I think they've gotten a lot better, and they drive nice, they sound nice, they have all the tech. That's why the Telluride still remains one of my all-time favorite SUVs. It's really good. It's really good, and they haven't really changed the inside for many years because, quite simply, when they released it, it was so ahead of the game. Others had to catch up. But the Telluride still remains one of the best SUVs outside of the luxury market. Luxury market is totally different, but as for a normal car, Telluride is still number one in my book. But you just had to get over the fact that it's a Kia. The EV9, which is basically an EV version of the Telluride, is also super, super nice. Super nice indeed. If you can get past that it's a Kia and a EV car, you actually go drive it, you'll realize it's like one of the smoothest and nicest SUVs out there. Sequoia is not in the same class, Josh. It's not a mid-size SUV. A Sequoia is a full-size SUV. Totally different class, man. All right, guys. That's it for today. You know what? Bitcoin is still being suppressed right now. Okay, it kind of sucks. I know. It's boring and it sucks. But like I've been saying, stay strong, stay focused. Know that the big boys continue to hodl. Not only that, they continue to buy, more importantly. And we have a lot of signals that show that Bitcoin is oversold. Right now, we're being held back by one entity. Once the selling's over, we'll be golden. And plus, the parabolic phase is coming soon. So stay strong and look forward to my new video series, CryptosRUs, starting next week, tomorrow. And then my Sunday walk video on Sunday. And I'll see you guys live on Monday. All right, guys, take care.